Everyone experiences conflict. In fact, you may be in conflict right now with your family, your friends, or even within yourself. Allow me to introduce you to an in-depth biblical teaching series. Coach Darrell White, who is an author, speaker, and family life coach, is thrilled to introduce you to people and families in biblical history that experience the same conflicts that you do. His objective is to use various expressions of art, the experiences of mental health professionals, or the sacred scriptures to help you with identifying and resolving various community mental health challenges. Join us now to see how the gallery that tells your story can transform our lives.
What's up, good people? This is Coach White, author, speaker, family relationship coach. Welcome to the gallery that tells your story. This is a new series, so I'm pretty excited. We are going to embark upon this new journey as we transition from the focus being on Eve to the focus being on Adam. Adam, where are you? And Adam represents all men and all marriages and all relationships and all families. So I want you to sit back and take some notes as we embark upon this new journey. And the title of this particular series is Adam and his violation of his relationship with God. See you guys in a minute. Peace. What's up, good people? This is Coach White. I'm here to give you the message of the week. So here we go. Being stuck in a toxic relationship is like being in prison with the cell doors open. There are no guards there, and yet you believe that you can't leave. So I've encountered some relationship dynamics most recently where people feel trapped. But I'm a firm believer in whatever you believe will manifest itself in the way you behave. So believe different. Create that exit strategy, that game plan before you leave, and then leave. Walk in faith and trust that God has you. If you're anything different, is not to trust God. You don't want to get in that place of sin. All right, let's get right into this. So we are continuing our study about Adam's transgression, and what I'm challenging us, and I'm being inclusive, men, husbands, to look into our mirrors and make sure that our actions do not align with the actions of Adam to the degree that we can help it, right? Because we all sin and fall short. But just pay close attention to the patterns of your life and do some really deep introspection as we navigate through this study. So Adam's transgression. Our main focus is Genesis 3, verses 17 through 19. And we have just a couple of sub-references that we'll mention. Genesis 2 and 7, as well as Genesis 5 and 5. All right? So let's get right into this. Genesis 3, verse 17. Then to Adam he said, because you have heeded the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall cause to grow for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. And the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. So what can we learn from these verses? Number one, let's check out verse 17. And I want you to pay very close attention to the phrase, because you have heeded the voice of your wife. A couple of key points here. The reason for the curse of the ground and human death is that man didn't listen to the voice of God, but instead chose to listen to the voice of his wife. The woman sinned because she acted independently of her husband, which disregards his leadership, his counsel, and his protection. In both cases, God's intended role was reversed, right? So it's an interesting word that I noted in my study in this particular verse, which is the word toil. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. This word is a Hebrew word that is translated into human suffering, right? It can refer to sorrow. It can refer to pain. It also can refer to hardship and emotional distress. Very interesting word to take into consideration as we study that verse. Next verse, verse 18. The phrase that I want you to highlight is cursed is the ground. Cursed is the ground. Couple notes for you here. God cursed the object of man's labor and made it produce his food through hard work. Weeds and thorns would infest the ground, making it difficult to till for the rest of his life, right? So take that into consideration. Verse 19. Notice that it mentions return to the ground. Return to the ground. Genesis 2:7 tells us, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, but because of man's sin, he will return to the ground to die. Because of man's sin, he becomes subject to all the sufferings and miseries of life. Genesis 5:5. Adam lived 930 years and he died. Adam lived 930 years and he died. All right. So for the audience, a couple things. Number one, fellas, what do you do in instances when your lady wants to do something that God doesn't approve of, knowing that you'll be held accountable for it? So that's the first thing I give you guys. The second thing is this. Ladies, what makes submission to your husband challenging, considering that it's an act of obedience to the Lord, regardless of his spiritual condition? And third, back to the fellas. What makes exemplifying Christ's love challenging, considering that it's an act of obedience to the Lord, regardless of her spiritual condition? This is Coach White. See you guys on the next episode. Peace. Wow, what another exciting episode. I hope that you guys are able to take some key points away from these shows. We see the trickle-down effect. We see Eve being deceived into sin, and then we see, as a result of that, we don't know where Adam is. So we are looking to take some nuggets away. I want to turn the focus to us as men, because we are the leaders. We are solely responsible. So stay tuned as we continue to navigate through this series. Hope you guys check in with me. Again, this is Coach White. See you next time. Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Gallery That Tells Your Story with Coach Daryl White. I hope today's episode encouraged much introspection and self-reflection. Be sure to join us again next week at the same time and the same channel. If you missed any of the prior episodes, please be sure to check the show archives. And if you're a mental health organization interested in learning more about partnership opportunities with Coach White, or if you're an artist interested in being featured on any upcoming episode's events, please contact Coach White directly at 443-785-7010. Again, that's 443-785-7010. And peace.